For over 5 decades, John Oates has been striking a chord with audiences as half of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame duo Hall and Oates. In 1999, John decided he wanted to embark on a solo career, and since then has released 7 albums. I recently chatted about all things music with John and why he's growing his moustache back, something he hasn't done in over 30 years. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, pleasure. Pleasure to be here.
How has the process evolved emotionally from those days in the 60s and then, getting together with Daryl and the Hall and Oates and all through the 80s and then the 90s and to where you are today, where you're releasing some fantastic new tracks?
I had an early musical life where I was playing folk music and blues and roots music and early rock. And then Daryl and I met and we combined our very diverse influences and created something new, which was the sound of Hall & Oates. We didn't know what we were doing, of course, at the time, but it evolved into something pretty spectacular. And that was a wild ride. But in the meantime, I've managed to carve out a solo career and try to create a musical identity for myself that was distinct from what I did with Daryl. And now I'm really fully committed to it with the new music.
You've said you kind of preferred the music that you guys were making in the 70s versus the stuff that you were doing in the 80s. And I read that those 80s years were a roller coaster of pop stardom and pop fame. How did that stardom and that fame change the sound of what you were writing and creating?
What I meant by that was I preferred the experience of the 70s because everything was new. Every city we went to was new. Every achievement was new. But what happened in the 80s that we were so successful that there was no time to reflect or do anything. Write songs, record them, go on tour, make videos, write songs, record them, go on tour, make videos. And honestly, I never really stopped from 72 until 86.
Actually, as we emerged from COVID, how did that experience really kind of shape the sound of these new tracks that we're hearing now from you?
It was a chance to step off the merry-go-round and to actually stop. And that was a revelation because it enabled me to see things much more clear, and it made go forward in a different way, in a healthier way, both physically and mentally. And the music began to emerge, and as it did, I became very inspired, and I thought, let me take advantage of this unique period of time, and it really was creatively liberating.
Yeah, and I mean, a case in point is Pushing a Rock and how that, is kind of a redo of something you did earlier. What are some of the rocks that you've had to push up a hill?
It's one rock after the other. It starts with the creative process. You're always challenging yourself to do one better. Now you have this incredible virtual music monster that's out there with hundreds of thousands of songs being released every day. How do you cut through all that? How can you gather an audience? These are the rocks that as a musician and in the professional music business, you're constantly having to overcome.
Your moustache from back in the days, it's almost as famous as the music. And you've partnered with Movember recently.
Yeah.
Was there a personal reason for you to sign up and be part of that movement?
Yes, there was a number of reasons. One was that they asked me, and my first reaction was, "What took you so long?" And the other thing was the men's health movement was not really being, being serviced in the right way. And I thought with my platform that I could help move that forward because it's obviously very important and obviously important to us as men, but important to the world in general.
November is largely about cancer and awareness, but it's got a lot to do with mental health. How have you gotten better at addressing some of those things in your life when you talk about mental health and stuff?
I would have to credit my wife. She has really pushed me to be more open about things and just being more aware and in tune to the intuitive and how important that intuition can be.
You've got this fantastic cover of Why Can't We Live Together? How did it come about for you to redo this famous track?
I always knew the Timmy Thomas song was always one of my favorites, and I went and revisited it, and I realized, well, this is a masterpiece. He was talking about Vietnam, he was talking about civil rights, and I thought, well, nothing has really changed. And I thought the time is right for this song to be heard again. And of course, I needed to make it my own on a musical level. But at the same time, it was just not one iota of the lyric was changed. I wanted to make sure that it was, that I was honoring the original idea.
We've got We Can't Live Together, which we've just been talking about, Disconnected, and Pushing a Rock. You're drip feeding us great new music. What's next?
There'll be a song a month for the next few months. The next song is the 180-degree anecdote to Why Can't We Live Together. It's a cover of the Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World, which I did in a 1970s R&B version.
Thank you for over 50 years of fantastic music, and I really appreciate you making the time, and we look forward to the next one.
It was a great interview. I appreciate it.
I am such a John Oates fan.